subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man.
What's up? It's your girl, the medicine girl, Carolyn Rodriguez, and you're right here with Donnie Houston.
Yeah, man, it's going down. This Donnie Houston podcast. I am Donnie Houston. Check it out, man. We got a special guest. You know what I mean? A lady. We got a woman in the house, man. She's hella talented. You know what I mean? Incredible voice, which I'm gonna try to put on the spot later for y'all. But she's been doing her thing, man. Just all around. She's on tour right now, and right now she's here at the Donnie Houston podcast. Carolyn Rodriguez, what's going on?
Hello. It's nice to finally be here.
For sure. I know, right? You all over. You moving around and doing your thing. So how's the tour been going?
It's been going good. Right now I have my tour bus in Chicago, so we're going back out there to do like some pop-ups and some meet and greets in like Chicago and then Milwaukee and stuff. But yeah, just kind of like touring all over. Taking my bus everywhere. Get to the fans. We've been doing a lot of lowrider car shows. So you're independent doing this? Yeah, independent. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. So
1,000%.
No shit. So what does your team consist of to be able to say we're gonna do a tour like around the country, not just around Texas or like familiar areas?
Well, I have my manager Athena, and she goes on a lot of the tours with me. We have my manager, and then I have my boy Bird. He's driving. I have a driver. And then he also helps with like selling the merch and stuff. And then we got G Love on the bus too. Like she helps with selling the merch and getting content. And then we usually have a videographer, photographer along to get like behind the scenes and vlogging and stuff like that.
Damn. Okay. So how did you build up this fan base to like have notoriety around the country like that?
It really all started with Dope House Records. It all started with Dope House.
You started with Dope House?
Yeah.
No shit. Okay, tell me. Yeah. Tell me more.
Yeah, no one would know who I was if it weren't for that. I started going up to Dope House Records like in the year 2001. And then I realized I had to finish college because I was not going to school. I was going to Dope House instead. So I had to stop going there and finish school. And then I finally finished school in like 2003. And I had moved to Houston, and I started going back up to the Dope House. Jaime Payne Ortiz, he was the person who introduced me to everybody there, and I kind of
So you over
went
there
in
with
there.
Happy Perez, and like tell me about who's all over there at Dope House. Like
At the time, yeah. At the time, everybody was over there. Happy Perez was there. Another guy named Pete Camarillo, rest in peace, Pete. He was over there doing engineering, and then Jaime was over there engineering. Shadow Ramirez was over there. All the guys, all the fam was over there. I mean, that's when Bash was still Beesh. Signed with them, and you had Grim and the Twin Berettas, who I met over there, and then Juan Gotti, who was the first person to put me on an album out of Dope House. So
what year was this when he put you on that album?
To 05. Yeah, 05, John Ghetto. He had just got an upstream deal with Warner Latina, and he had got nominated for a Latin Grammy off of his very first independent album that sold like 20,000 units out the gate. We're talking CDs back then. So 20,000 units independent is a big deal for a new artist. And so Warner Latina picked him up. They nominated for a Latin Grammy. They signed an upstream deal with Dope House and him. And then Arthur Coy, who's the CEO, he got a distribution deal for the whole label with WIA, Warner Electric Atlanta. So that's when they said, okay, we need somebody to come in here and do some accounting for you because we need to pay out publishing to these artists on this album. And Jaime told him, well, Carolyn's just graduated with a degree in accounting, so why don't we have her come in and do the publishing? So he was like, okay. So they hired me at the office to start doing royalty accounting. And at the time, that was when like iTunes was just coming up, like digital downloads were just coming around, and they needed someone to put their entire catalog like on digital downloads, metadata, and all that. So I ended up doing that. I started out doing royalty accounting, ended up doing that. So I really got to know the catalog well and how to do everything, and pretty much started being kind of like Arthur's right hand at the business. And then like about 6 months into it, 6 to 9 months into it, I started working with SPM over the phone. He was on the phone, he was incarcerated. We started working on his music, and the more I was over there at the studio, the more it was like, hey, I need you here in the studio with me to put these albums together. So he fired me from the office and hired me in the studio. So that's when I got with Payne in the studio, and we started helping put together When Devils Strike, the When Devils Strike album. And then after that was the Last Year Violinist album, and then after that, so I mean, it's kind of like snowballed into a whole thing. And then when the When Devils Strike album came out with the song Dope House Family, that's when people were like, who is the girl at the end of the song? Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, you're the one at the end. And that's how I became known, was really just being on SPM's albums, especially that song in particular.
That's what I was going to say. Talk about the power of SPM. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause he's been going for a minute, but like still to this day, he's probably the highest selling like Hispanic hip hop artist of all time. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's crazy because like it just shows you that good music, addictive music, you know what I mean, is timeless. Like it's gonna go on forever. Like it's never gonna die. And that's what I noticed like through all these years, these past 20 years, is that it's timeless music. It's never died. And you can't quite place like what it is about people that why they're a star or why they have timeless music. It's just that thing. They just have that thing. That's unexplainable thing, you know? And I think that's what it was. He just, you know, he had
it. Yeah.
He just had it, you know? And people just gravitated towards it, and they still do to this day. I mean, it's insane. Like people who never heard of him before or something, you know, and they hear a song for the first time, it's like automatic. They're like, damn, who's this guy, you know? So yeah, it's definitely been interesting to experience like the timelessness of it all, you know what I mean? And like looking back, you never think that this song, this Dope House Family song, 11-minute long song, would be still timeless today. Like I could go anywhere and perform it, and it's just like it's crazy. Like,
so from that time at Dope House, that's what really like got you in this position to be able to do what you're right now.
Yeah, definitely. That's what started me off. Because I wasn't just singing on like one song or just singing on things. I was involved in like every aspect of the business. So he had me promoting his single at the time in my hood, told me the radio DJs to go to at the time.
In your hood, this is out here?
In my hood, yeah. He shot a video, he had a single called In My Hood, the first one he had released since he had been incarcerated.
Right.
And he basically instructed me on how to promote it and gave me some DJs' names and some radio station DJs. Hey, I need you to go push the single over here, go talk to this person, go talk to that person. And like really got me knowledgeable about going how to, you know, it got me connections.
I was gonna say building relationships. Yeah.
Building relationships, yeah. And just like learning how am I gonna do this for my own music? You know, it really gave me like a blueprint for myself. So yeah, it was definitely beneficial. And then Juan Gotti had me on the road. He actually made me quit. Before even I got into the office at Dope House, I was working like as a market research supervisor at a firm. And Juan Gotti actually told me, hey, see, you're gonna quit your job. You're gonna come with me on the road. You're not gonna be here. And I was like, okay. So I told my job, hey, you know, I could leave at any time. And then when he told me to quit my job, I quit my job. I went with Juan Gotti on the road, and I actually managed him for like 6 months. So I was a manager too. So it was a lot. He's the one who got me known like on the road and building relationships in person with people, and put me on tour with him, and was putting me on albums too. So I mean, man, that's like, he's the one who gave me the blueprint for touring. I don't think I could have toured like this without Juan, you know, without his knowledge, without being on the road with him. So that's the other half of it, you know what I mean?
You were blessed to get some real game like early in your career, where most people have to kind of figure it out. You just fell into situations where, you know, not only people were helping you musically, but like you said, the business side, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like best of both worlds type shit.
I guess when people pick up that you have certain skills to do things, oh, you can do this too? Oh, okay, you can do the accounting too? Well, damn, okay, you can write bios? Yeah, you can do, you know, it's like the more multifaceted you are in the business, the more opportunities you're gonna get. You know what I mean? Because people can always use you for something. I mean, you know, I was doing project coordination and everything. I mean, I know how to do all that on the back end. So when people are using you for other things on the back end, that's how you're able to build those relationships.
That's crazy. Okay, let's go back to Fayetteville though. Tell me about Fayetteville.
Man, Fayetteville, wow, that's where I was, you know, born and raised. Fayetteville, North Carolina, Vietnam. And I was just in choir there, you know. I went to a private school for a while, and then after that they took me out because it ended at like 8th grade, and so they put me in the nearest public school in our neighborhood. And
wait, but this time, what are you doing? Where's music in your life at this time?
I'm just in choir.
That's it.
Just
but
choir.
Your personal interest though, like what do you listen to?
Oh, I was very much into rap. I've been a hip hop head since day one. I was listening to Ghetto Boys and Scarface. Didn't even realize I was gonna end up in Houston, but I really loved Houston rap. And I also was listening to, of course, like the West Coast stuff, like Dr. Dre and Snoop, and then of course, you know, listening to Biggie and Nas was my favorite rapper of all time. So, you know, I was always into rap, always into hip hop, and I don't even know where it came from. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how it started.
That's just what you gravitated to.
It just what I gravitated to. You know what? I think too, because the neighborhood that I grew up in, you know, like I was the only white person in my neighborhood. So, you know, all my friends, everybody that I was around, maybe that's what it was, my environment, you know, plus the school that I ended up going to, the junior high that they put me in my public school, it was like the worst school in the whole city. It was like the hoodest school in the whole city. Like, we had riots all the time. So yeah, I think that had a lot to do with it too. Like, just that culture. I was in that culture from the beginning, I guess. You know what I mean?
So you were in choir, though. Were you into R&B at all, or it was just straight hip hop?
Oh yeah, R&B for sure. I'm an R&B head too. Yeah, like I grew up with, like, you know, Faith Evans and Mary J. Blige. She's my favorite artist of all time.
You were saying that. What's your favorite Mary J. Blige song?
Sweet Thing.
Can you sing that a little bit?
I will love you anyway, even if you cannot stay. I think you are the one for me. Here is where you ought to be. I just want to satisfy you, 'cause you're not mine and I can't deny it. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Love me now, I'll go crazy. Whoa, whoa, sweet thing. Yeah, don't you know you're my everything? Yes, you are.
Come on now. Y'all clap it up. Shit, make some noise, man.
I actually won a talent show at 97.9 doing that song a cappella.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, so Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, we in choir, we doing all this, we in middle school. Okay, so high school, what's going on?
High school, my parents get divorced, and my dad goes to Huntsville, Texas to go be a professor at Sam Houston State University. My mom, her family's from Arkansas, so she moves us to Fort Smith, Arkansas, which I hate. I go there and it's the worst culture shock ever. There's like no rap station, no rap and R&B station there, first of all. So I was dying. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I just start going to the record store every day, to the tape store, what's the newest hip hop releases, and just whatever looks good. And I see ESG, Sailing the South, is out. And I'm like, I just pick up the tape and I'm like, I'm gonna get this. I get the ESG Sailing the South, and man, it was over for me. I was going to Houston. I knew I was going to Houston. I started listening to Swinging and Banging. That got me listening to DJ Screw and Little Kiki. So I started listening to all of the Screw music, and I got big into it. And I'm in high school at the time.
Just from coming into the store? Like,
just from coming into the store, yeah. Because I always tell ESG, I'm like, you're the reason I'm here.
Shout out to ESG, man.
Shout out to ESG, man. And so yeah, I got into the Screw music big time. So I was already into that. So whenever I realized my dad was teaching at Sam, I was like, that's right near Houston. Like, I want to go down there. So my dad was like, well, you can get in-state tuition because I live here. So that's what I did. I went down to Huntsville right away. Like, I was in Arkansas for 2 years.
So your last couple of years of high school?
Yeah, my last couple of years of high school. I even graduated early because I wanted to get out of there so quick. But then I got caught up, like, selling drugs and stuff, so, and doing street stuff. So, like, how
did you get involved with that?
I mean, pretty much, like, I guess just because I've always been a hustler. Like, since I was little, I used to go around selling my stuffed animals. Like, I would just sell whatever I could to make money because my family was not, you know, we weren't rich growing up. Definitely, like I would say, lower middle class. Teachers don't make shit. So, but yeah, I would sell everything. So I guess, like, whenever I got into high school,
was it a boyfriend or something that turned you on, or like?
I can't remember, honestly. It was my friend that I was hanging out with. Her cousin was selling rocks. He was selling work.
Oh, you were selling hard.
Oh yes, I sold crack. Yeah, I know how to make crack. I know how to cook crack and all that. I used to cook it.
No shit.
Yeah. So I was selling crack, weed, Reggie. It was only Reggie at the time. I was selling crack and weed, And then after I left Arkansas and I came down to Huntsville, where my dad was at, to get through school, I ended up hooking up with somebody who, I don't know why I always end up linking up with the, but you know, hustlers relate, I guess. That's what it is, right? Hustlers relate. So I ended up linking up with this guy who was, you know, selling weed, and so I start selling weed again over there, you know, and then he was also selling crack, so I started selling crack again. So, you know, I'm like, hey, I gotta pay my tuition, man. So,
but your dad is a professor at the school, and you got the trap jumping.
Yeah. He did not know. He still does not know. My dad will not watch this, so
okay, I was gonna say, what should he know now?
My mom knows, you know, she knows about all that.
Did you ever get caught up with cases and shit like that, or you skated?
I definitely never got caught for what I should have gotten caught for. I'll put it that way. I have a lot of stupid little weed cases, you know, just personal. But no, I never got caught with that. I think it's because I really didn't do it for too long. I mean, I did it for like a couple years. And
that's still a long time to be selling work, though.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, I was in college. I was in college. I had a job. I managed Domino's Pizza, too. So I was working and I was going to school and doing that. So, I mean, maybe that's what it was.
You just always been multifaceted.
Yeah.
That's
gotta get the job done.
So at Sam, were you doing anything with music before you come down to Houston in the dope house and all that? Like?
Yeah, actually, that's the first time I was ever in a recording studio to do anything with rap was in Huntsville. So I'm managing Domino's Pizza, and right beside me there is a studio, and it was Little Randy's studio. I met him through the hustle, you know, and I remember I showed up to his trailer one day where he had a studio, and I wanted some studio time to record a song that I wrote. And so he said, yeah, sure. And I was like, well, what's the cost, you know? He was like, well, sing for me. Okay. What do you want me to sing? I don't know, sing something. I don't remember what I sang. Anyway, whatever I sang, he was like, you know what? You're good. Just don't forget about us when you blow up. I was like, thanks, man. So I started recording over there, and then he had me record some choruses for him, for his group, whoever he was. He had a group at the time over there in Huntsville.
We're talking about Lil Randy, SUC.
We're talking about Randy, yeah. SUC Randy. Shout out to Lil Randy, yeah. First time I was ever in the studio. So that was when we had the 4-track, you know, the 1880. So if you're the chorus singer, if you sing the hook, you don't want to have to do the most work because you can record that over and over again. There's no copy paste. So yeah, got into that. Started really loving recording in the studio. It was kind of like natural for me. And so I started going to Houston a lot and recording with rappers over there and going to studios over there. Whoever would say, hey, I need you to do a chord, I'm there, you know? So finally I get a beat made, and I decide that I want to record a demo to shop, and I'm on the 97.9 chat room, and that's where this guy hit me up and said, hey, I got a studio where you can go. His name was Rob. Shout out to Rob. This is the address, 2122 Center Street. I'm like, okay. Had no idea that it was Dope House Records. So that's how I ended up there. And then I did the same thing. Oh, wow, you can sing. All right, you know what? Just keep coming back. Do some hooks for us, do some choruses for us, and we got you on the studio time. So it was kind of like that. So that's when I just started kind of going up there just every day, just sitting, waiting, you know, on my opportunity. Somebody's going to get me on something. I remember Baby Bash had got me on something. He was the first person to put me on something in there. So it's like, you know, you got to be there at the right place at the right time, you know, but that's how you get opportunities, you know. You don't get opportunities by sitting at home. You got to go there.
You got to put yourself in position.
Yeah, you got to put yourself in that position, and that's what I did. But I really didn't even realize what the hell I was doing at the time. I was just doing it.
Just going with the vibes.
Yeah, just going where I wanted to do. And it was like, I didn't even realize that it was going to be my career or that this is what I was going to do.
So at that time, you're not even thinking career. You just, this some shit I like to do.
No, just, hey, I like this shit. You know, I'm good at it. People like it. I'm winning talent shows. I'm winning contests. You know, I won these 97.9 talent shows that GT, shout out to GT.
GT, man, it's my boy, man.
He used to go out and do all these shows at this club called Just Joking. I don't even...
You was going to Just Joking?
Yes. And they would laugh at me when I would get on that stage. They'd be like, this white girl, I know you didn't put this white girl on the stage. Like, and then I would get up there and sing, and they'd be like, oh, okay. You know, the shock factor. So, yeah, I used to go to Just Joking all the time. That was kind of like my beginnings. Kind of like, you know, how like the battle raps and the Eminem stuff. Like, I was doing the battle singing because I was going up there doing R&B, straight R&B. I wasn't rapping at all yet. This is just all singing.
Was there anybody you remember from that time that went on to become somebody else that was like in grind mode when you were doing all that?
I don't remember anybody, no. Nobody at the time.
Yeah.
I think there was one other female rapper at the time. I want to say it was Candy Red.
Candy Red?
That's somebody who was, that OG Ron C she was doing something back then. I think she was the one I remember doing something from Houston, like female rap wise. But really, it just wasn't too much at the time. Females, especially, no.
Damn. Okay. So what goes on after the Dope House situation?
So I'm doing my thing. I start putting out my own albums independently. You know. Like by 2012 or 2011, I'm doing an album together with Juan Gotti. We decided to do an album together called Dope La Familia, and I'm still touring with him, of course. But and actually, Athena, I had just met Athena probably in 08 or 09. Athena, who's my manager now, and so we're still like, she's not managing me yet at this time. We're still just hanging out, you know. She's in the business, but she's not really sure like what she's doing either. She's kind of like, okay, I really like this. I like being in this. You know I can do events. I know I can do stuff, but we hadn't gotten to that point yet. You know, we're just friends. So I ended up moving to LA. I hooked up with Silent Giant Entertainment out there, Pocos Pero Locos, Kool-Aid and E-Dub. Shout out to them. They had a syndicated radio station that was on 40 different stations across America that played Latin rap. I believe it was House Party, the station over here, who played Pocos Pero Locos. So they were playing all of the SPM albums on the radio, and I used that relationship to take my single over there with Juan Gotti to see if they would play it on their station. We went all the way out to LA. We're like, hey, you know what? We got to go to them. We're not going to get them to play my song just sitting here in Houston. We have to go over there. So me and Gotti got in the car. We drove all the way to LA to bring them the single, and then I ended up recording some songs with them. And we vibed really well, so I ended up signing with them to do an album. And so a year later, I'm like, I'm moving. I'm out of here. It's time to elevate the game, and get out of here and create a new fan base, because people just knew me as a background singer at the time. Like, and I'm like, damn, you know, I got like 2 albums out. You know, I got my own music, and I want really people to hear me for my music because I got a lot of stuff. So moving out to LA, I think, really helped me with that. Get out of that, because I felt like it was just like a crabs in a bucket situation at the time. And I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. So moving to LA really helped. I started doing a lot of features with artists out there that started doing really well. And then just from there, just started touring and doing stuff, and even getting into the acting and stuff, because I like acting, like sketch comedy. That's my other passion.
You were saying you do impersonation.
Yes, I do. I do. Sometimes, you know.
And you also told me you got a mean Ronnie Spencer.
Man, I heard about your Donnie Spencer, so I was like, okay. Stay on your grind.
Yeah.
Everybody, yeah. Shout out to Ronnie Spencer,
Shout
Donnie
out
Spencer.
Ronnie Spencer, man. Yeah,
and Ronetta.
Yeah, Ronetta for sure. Yeah.
So talented. But yeah, so I do some impressions, yeah. I was kind of born without an accent. That's what my parents said. Yeah, wherever I'm at, that's my accent. I'm serious. Like, I'm here in Houston, I'm H-Town all day. But when I go there to California, like, give me a day and I'll be talking LA. It's weird. And then I'll go to Spain, because I went to Spain every summer as a kid with my family, because my father's from Spain. I grew up speaking Spanish as my first language. So we'd be over there, and then I'm all speaking Spanish and no English. Like, it's like, it just changes wherever I'm at.
That's what's up. Okay, so.
Yeah, it is weird. People be thinking I'm a weirdo.
No. You're not a weirdo. I get it.
Kids will look at me like, did she just wait? Were you just talking like something else, or who is that?
Who you want me to be? Who you want to show up?
Tuesdays, I tell you what, Tammy comes out on Tuesdays, and I used to go, I tell you what, and I used to just like go off.
No, keep going. It's cool. Keep going.
Athena says the only thing that helps on tour. It's a different voice.
It freaks people out at first.
It does. It like fucks with people. Yeah. All right. I have my boy DJ Buddha. Shout out DJ Buddha. You know, we'll be like, we had this show that we used to watch on HBO where they were from New Zealand, and so we talk like we're from New Zealand. We always talk like that to each other, and they'd be like, "I hate music, love." They always tell me I hate music. I don't know why I'm a DJ because I hate music, and we just always like have our whole thing with the New Zealand thing. Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, my boy Milton Bradley, Doom. Shout out to Doom. We do different accents together too. That dude will be doing like Matthew McConaughey. we just do all kinds of shit.
So, do you have a favorite one to do?
I think my favorite one's got to be Ling Ling though, the Asian one. I think that's got to be my favorite one because I like to keep her gangster anyway, you know. And like, you know, every time I get my nail done or something, like you have your nail.
Get the fuck out of here.
You have a long nail, medium nail, short nail. Yeah. Boyfriend like long nail. Scratch them.
You used to be talking about, I used to be the operator at No Pop.
Oh, I did, yeah. I kind of got in trouble for that, but when the Dope House moved to the other location, I was still working there, and I had a fake secretary. Ling Ling was the secretary, so I did the voicemail for the Dope House, and it was on there for like 4 years or something. And I remember Arthur got on to me last year, and he was like, "Hey, can you take that shit off?" He was like, "That shit's still on there." And I was like, "Thank you for calling Dope House Record with Dope Sell Sell. Please leave a message. Somebody will get back to you. Okay, bye."
Get the fuck out of here. This is hilarious.
I used to get people, they would call up there to the office if they'd call after hours, and I'd answer the phone sometimes as her. And I'd be like, "You want to buy a CD? We have a lot of CD." You know, like just trying to sell a CD. Like, no, I don't want to buy a CD.
This is funny as fuck.
Sorry.
Nah, it's cool. Get your shit off. It's cool.
There's too much, Donnie. It's too much for this one podcast. We would need a whole other podcast for this. Yeah. Yeah. But that's why I got into sketch comedy, because I loved it so much. I used to do that. I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live when I was a kid. Like, that was my thing. So it was great being out in LA, because I got to do everything that I wanted to do. And then, you know, I came back to get married. I came back for love, and now I'm not married.
That's what I'm saying. I was gonna say, you married? I didn't know. We didn't
talk. And now I'm not. So so I don't know. I mean, I might move back to LA. Like, it's just kind of up in the air right now. But I love Houston so much. Like, Houston's always been home to me, you know. So it's just kind of like bittersweet.
So are you trying to still pursue? Are you into acting? Like, are you gonna do anything with this?
I still do want to pursue it. Yeah, I really do. I signed back up with like casting people, and because I mean, that's like, I enjoy it so much. But then again, it's like music was always number one. Music took precedence. Like, I remember I had a chance to do a callback one time in LA for this sitcom. It was going to be on a sitcom, so it was going to be like a regular, like a speaking role. And instead of going to the callback, it was like, okay, you can either do that or you can go shoot this video with Mr. Criminal.
You ain't shot the video.
I shot the video, Mr. Criminal. But that video has like 5 million views. You know, like that video ended up like helping blow me up too. So it was kind of like, but it was like, man, this is where your heart's at. This is your heart. Like, it's gonna be music first. It's gonna be music, you know. So.
Well, I'll be damned, Carolyn. I wasn't expecting all of this when I called you to come up here and chat with us.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, it's been a lot of years, Donnie. Got a lot to catch up on. We got a whole lot to catch up on.
So I'm gonna have to bring you back. But what's next though? What's next for you? You got the tour going. What else are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I've been dropping a lot of different type of music now. Kind of got more into my R&B side and my soul side with this stuff. So I just recently dropped 2 new singles. One's called Stand the Rain. One's called Thought You Knew.
I'm about to send you some beats, man. You know I'm producing shit.
I did not know that you produce.
Yeah,
yes.
That's really what I do.
Oh wow, yes. Send me. Send. Yeah, so I'm working on a new album now. It's gonna be a lot of. I feel like a whole new vibe with this album. I I even have a song, like, I have some Spanish music too that I'm putting out, some Spanish records. Spanish was my first language. I spoke Spanish before I spoke English. That's why I've always been able to speak Spanish. But as far as singing language, I always wrote and sang songs in English. My mom was more the Spanish writer. But I have been able to, crank out a little bit of Spanish here and there. So I'm going to have a lot more Spanish on this album. But yeah, this is more like a whole new, I don't even know, I can't call it neo soul, and I can't call it because I have so much hip hop still, roots. There's still so much hip hop in there. So I don't know what to call it. It's just, somebody was telling me it's like an oldie vibe but modern. So I'm like, I don't even know what to call it anymore.
So when you gonna drop this?
I plan on dropping this definitely before the year's over. I'll probably end up dropping it in fourth quarter because I really want everything to be right. And I feel like every album I start doing, I take longer and longer to do each one because I get so much more picky and involved in like arranging. I love to arrange. That's another passion of mine. I love to arrange music. I did a lot of the arranging for those SPM albums. I did a lot of that. I really got into it at the time because we were doing a lot of edits on vocals and stuff like that. And you're dealing with vocals that have no beat. Also, some stuff had a lot of noise in the background that you have to. And at the time, we didn't have any program that could, now you have Melodyne, right? Mm-hmm. Melodyne can actually change your tempo without changing the pitch, right? We didn't have Melodyne at the time, so it was literally, just cutting and pasting and putting things together for it to be on tempo. So once I got into that, man, I just realized how much I loved arranging music. Oh my God, just all the instruments, just put them all there, and I'll sit there and arrange the whole song. Because I can hear it in my head, So definitely more into this album, and I think that's why this album is taking so long, because I'm very meticulous about the arrangement. And also Dominator, shout out to OG Dominator. He's been producing a lot of this album, and he's playing a lot of stuff, replaying a lot of stuff live. So we're not just doing synthetic sounds here. It's a lot of live instrumentation. So and then I'm finally going to get to perform with the band, which I'm super excited with. For Rock the Vote here on October 7th. I've never performed with the band, and I'm going to get to perform my music with the band. So that's
this is going to be
whole
where?
New feeling. Where is that? Is it at the Segovia? It's not at the Segovia Studios, right? Harrisburg Art Museum, yeah, in Second Ward, October 7th. Yeah, the Rock the Vote Festival.
Are you still going to be on tour then, or when's the tour wrap up?
Well, I'm kind of back and forth. So I'm leaving for Chicago tomorrow, and we're going to tour for a week. Then I'll come back for the Rock the Vote, and then we'll probably tour again in November. Kind of give it a break. I always give it a break because I have to go work on music. I'll go to LA and work on music, and then come back and then start the tour again. It's kind of how it's going. Because when you're creating the album, you can't really tour too much, because you got to be focused on getting the songs done. But I kind of have to tour to pay the bills. You know what I mean? Because that's what pays the bills still, the majority of the bills. And I bought this tour bus in 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. And I had been talking about getting a tour bus for years. I had wanted a tour bus because I used to, run around in my car with Manuel Rodriguez, Mo Hustle. Shout out to Mo Hustle. He was with me slinging CDs, those CDs and Swisher House CDs for years. It was just me and him in my car, state to state, city to city. So I was like, I need to get a tour bus, man. I was just imagine if I had a whole bus with all this merch on it.
So you
and
got
I had
a full bus?
My face on it. Yeah, I have a whole bus, yeah. It's a wrapped bus. It has all my information on it, my picture on it, my albums and everything. So it's me when you see me. So now that we have the tour bus, I told me and Athena had been talking about it. Everybody was quarantined. Nobody can go anywhere except for grocery store, essential, right? But I was like, this is the time. Let's get the tour bus now. Let's leave. Let's go on the road. Let's start selling merch on the road. Because, my tour had been canceled. I was touring with Juan Gotti, Miss Crazy, and Quinto Sol. We had been on a tour, and all that tour had gotten canceled. So what was I going to do? That's still, like I said, touring is the majority of our money as artists, right? So I was like, all right, I'm going to get this tour bus. So we went, bought the tour bus. I went and got it wrapped. My boy Eddie did the first wrap. Shout out to Eddie. He wrapped the bus. I got my boy Larry to drive. Shout out to Larry, Smitty, Athena, and we hit the road. We went on the bus. We got it out of Texas because it was summertime. It was really hot, and we headed up towards New Mexico and Colorado, and we just went up, and we just started doing pop-ups everywhere at Walmarts, because Walmart's like the only place where you can really put a big bus like that, and they were the only place open at the time, right? So we would just pop up to the Walmarts and just like start getting to the fans, and we pretty much toured the entire pandemic. We did that the entire time, all those years until, you know, till things kind of like got back to normal. We were on the road the whole time. Flights were like $20. We're like, okay, cool. We're like flying to wherever the bus is at and jumping on the road. So.
Damn, Carolyn, you just a hustler, all around hustler.
Yes, sir.
Music, crack, whatever you want.
Yeah. I've always said that. When people ask me what I do, I'm like, well, I'm a hustler before anything, you know? So.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, man, I appreciate. You got anything before we close out?
Man, well, hopefully I shouted out enough people, and shout out Mexican Connected. You know, she's been with me on this journey with my new album too. So she's been with me in the studios over there, even in Cali, and shout out to you. You know, I've been wanting to come on your podcast for a long time.
I appreciate it.
You're very established here, and you're well respected. You know, so, and I know that in this business, it's all about your reputation, and you definitely had one of those. So I was like, man, that's the one podcast I gotta get on.
I appreciate it.
You know?
I saw you singing, and I was like, I gotta find out who this is.
Oh, and shout out to Sean Jameson.
My boy.
Yes, the Waterworld project that just came out, the Waterworld 2 project that just came out. Shout out to Be Legit. He put me on a record called Another Day on his newest album. It's doing really well.
Wait, Be Legit put yours out?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yes.
I fuck with Be
Give
Legit.
me chills
man.
just thinking about it, because I love that song. The song's called Another Day. You got to check it out. Yeah, shout out to Be Legit. He's definitely going to be on my album. Shout out to AK of Do or Die. We're about to do a record too when I go over there to Chicago. So.
And these are people you're meeting as you're traveling. You just coming across.
Yeah, kind of. My boy Mo Hustle hooked me up with Do or Die with AK. The Be Legit thing was a producer hit me up on Instagram, and he said he would like to get you on the album, and I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And he's like, he wants to get you on a chorus. I said, you want me to write it too? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, word? Okay. So I was like, all right. So I recorded it, wrote it, turned it in. This was like a year ago. And then the album just ended up dropping like now in July. So a year later, like the record dropped, and like it's doing really well, and people really responding well to that song. So.
Carolyn got records out here. You better stop playing.
Yeah, and shout out to Rappin' Fote. That's another legend I got to work with from the Bay Area. Yes. We did a song back in 2012 called Sometimes. It was a song I had already out called Sometimes from one of my albums. And my boy Cal One, shout out to him, producer from Germany, he let Rappin' Fote hear it because he was letting him hear beats. And he was like, I want to remix this song. This song is great. So, and then we ended up shooting a video and everything out there in LA. That was when I first moved out there, so. Damn,
Carolyn, you done had some great experiences with this thing, man.
I have, man. Very blessed, very blessed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm going to have to invite you and all your characters back, and we'll do it again.
All my different personalities and shit.
We'll bring everybody back. You know what I mean?
People are like, this explains so much. Like, that's what it is about her. Okay. She just doesn't know what the hell she is from second to second. Switch. But no, my personalities, my voices the accents might switch up, but I don't. I'm still me.
That's what's up. Carolyn Rodriguez, everybody. Y'all can clap while y'all quiet. Yeah. All right, well, now I appreciate you coming through. You want to get your social media before we close out?
Yes. IG, Carolyn Rodriguez. All social media platforms, Carolyn Rodriguez.
There it is. Carolyn Rodriguez. I'm Donnie Houston. It's the Donnie Houston Podcast. Hey, man, we're up out of here.
Donnie Houston.
Subscribe to the Donnie Houston Podcast, man.